Patricia may be one of those few people who you cannot describe in just one word, but if I had to select one word, it would be passionate. She is extraordinarily passionate about the things that she thinks are important, not only to her, but to her colleagues, to the industry, to the people we serve, and that really was a differentiator for me.
May I have two words? Education warrior. Because she has been really aggressive in pushing certifications and education processes to professionalize especially the exhibition meeting industry players in Mexico.
I think that Patricia is passionate in everything that she does, in every encounter that she comes across. She loves her country of Mexico, and she's passionate about promoting Mexico and telling everybody what a wonderful country it is. She's very passionate about the trade show industry, as is evidenced from her accomplishments throughout the years. It's just, she's passionate about everything.
The trade show industry in Mexico is run with systems and standards that I developed way back 35 years ago, and they are a standard now. The hours in which shows are open, how they do the registration, how they're built, all of that, I think, was my contribution. And going out there internationally and pushing for Mexico very, very early on, I went out, and so I think that thinking about it, my contribution is putting Mexico on the map and having created the systems and way of running shows in Mexico to this, that is followed now.
Well, she was founder of the main association of the Mexican Association of Exhibition Industry Players, that is named AMPROFEC. And then she also was instrumental on launching the Mexico chapter of IAEE. So I think in the exhibition business, she has done a lot. There's a lot of legacy of Patricia Farias, but I think the most important thing that will stay there as her legacy will be the gratitude of so many people that were helped by Patricia in their development.
Instead of him taking me to see what it was that he was doing, how he built highways and stuff, and he would take my brother and he would take my cousin, but he wouldn't take me. And so I think very early on I developed this sense of why can't I go? And so I wanted to prove to my macho Mexican father that I was just as good as any boy, but I was a woman, and so I think a lot of my drive was to prove the sexless, because it doesn't matter. There really is no difference. It's whatever your brain has the power to do and the passion with which you want to do it.
Well, I think that she is one of the key people in Mexico that has pushed the industry to go forward. I think that the meeting space, for example, in Mexico has evolved so much in an appropriate way because of her advice to several convention centers that were going to be built. So I think she has to do also with the balance of infrastructure versus physical infrastructure, educating the people to run those centers. So I think the combination between those two are what will, as I say, will stay there. And those are vivid testimonies of what she has accomplished in our country.
I think that's the perfect mix, because you have to have your brain has to be in that mindset and in that wavelength for you to learn and teach. The true integration of technology without what some people think, which is, some people think, okay, well, you will virtually, it'll be somehow taken away and it'll be virtual. It's not going to be virtual. We still need to kick the tires. We still need to see eye to eye and handshake
Well, I think this is a very fair and a very deserved recognition to her accomplishments. This is not the first award she gets. She has been recognized also a lot by her own organization, but it's very nice that the Convention Industry Council, with all the organizations, are supporting this award, because she really deserves it, and I think she values it a lot, because maybe, I mean, now she's running a convention center, but it's a little thing of what she can do. So what I think is that maybe she has already done a lot of what she is able to accomplish, and she has contributed a lot to my country. So I think that Mexico government also, and Mexico meetings industry, has to second this CIC recognition and has to do something to say, hey, because of Patty, we're here.
I feel a great responsibility also because, you know, with this being left behind, one of these days when my kids make me a grandma because they don't look like they want to anytime soon, they'll be able to take the kids and say, you see that one, that little tough old bird there, that was your grandma, you know? So it's very humbling.
Well, I think that Patricia is deserving of being inducted into the Hall of Leaders for her involvement, not just within the trade show industry, but also in her role as the managing director of the Puerto Vallarta Convention Center. She's also worked in Cancun. She's also been an organizer, has launched and produced many events that she eventually sold to some major show organizers. She's been very involved with the youth of Mexico and just has touched so many different areas of the exhibition and events industry.
You do business very much based on how you feel about the relationship. And that's why, for example, we'll go and have lunch for 2 hours and not talk about business, because we're trying to feel out what kind of people we're going to do business with. That is a model that maybe is not as common here in the United States, because in the United States it's more, let's be efficient with our time and tell me what you can do and whether you can resolve it or not. But for us, it's a little more emotional.
She represented a breakthrough for the association in terms of not only being a dynamic woman in an important leadership role, but the first non-American who took the reins of power for an association that heretofore had been a national association. And the decision was made, the conscious decision was made to create it into an international organization. So Patricia's arrival on the scene as the first non-American who happened to be a woman, who happened to be exceedingly charismatic. I was going to say forceful, but some might think that that's a negative attribute, but in the association business, you have to be relentless as a volunteer if you hope to achieve some progress. So I would say, you know, her passion and her relentless pursuit of important goals is really what defines her.
I think if you don't learn, you die somehow, right?
Yep.
And even though, let me tell you, I enjoy vegging very much, but that I am flabbergasted. I feel like I can truly die tomorrow and I've left something.